Hello and welcome to part 2 of composing our kooky animation cue. Must admit I started playing around with this before starting recording, so what I've done is slightly edited the ending to miss out some notes. Originally we had this. What I've done is taken out some notes so the xylophone stands out on its own. Quite like that. And I've upped the tempo to 140. What I've got to do is split these so that they're separated for intro and main tune. So we're going to split somewhere around there. Just got to be careful because there's a lead-in note. We don't want to chop that off accidentally. And I'll come back when I've had a go at spacing it out. We're aiming for about 1 minute 30 to 2 minutes. So see you in a second. Right, so what I have done is I got my splits in and I've swapped around the main instrument to be the staccato trumpet in the second section. We go back to the first section. I'm just trying to work out what else to add in to make it different. I have added some trombones in here for this first section just to beef it up a little bit, and then the middle section I've had to drop that in volume a bit. What I'm trying to do at the moment is work out how to put this Glock in, because it's got a really long reverb on it, even though there's nothing in the settings. Even if you just use the close mic, the effects say the reverb's down as well. It just happens to be a really long ring out. What I might do is try and automate that so that we can cut the end off the ring. Otherwise it goes on for ages. I mean, it's still going, you know, well into that first part. So I'll have a play with that and see what we come up with. Right, so what I've done is automated the Glock tail to fall off, so it sounds a bit better. So it definitely ends pretty much, instead of ringing out into that first bar, we've also got it tinging at the end. I've also added flutes doing this sort of thing. And in general, you can see now as the track goes on, it's building up in layers. So I've actually moved the trumpet staccato to come in a bit later along with the trombone. So the trumpets and trombones are pretty much sticking together here. Then we bring the clarinet back in after it's had a little break. And also then you've got the flutes as well. So as a first 30 seconds, that builds quite nicely to that ending. What I now need to come up with is what's going to go in the middle. Watch this space. Right, so what I've done is compose this little middle section with a slightly different variation to it. Then doubling the xylophones. And just at the moment I thought, what would be better than a classic turnaround? So we've got this. Which can then go back into the A section that we had, where we can then change things up a little bit. And I'm not sure whether to use this ending or the one with the gap in. I think I prefer the one with the gap in. And the reason I thought I'd do the classic turnaround is if an editor gets in their head they quite like that sound, they wouldn't be able to mix it in from another source because the instruments we're using are obviously unique. So I'm going to work out the rest of this little turnaround, pop the A section on the end, and we should be up to a minute 30. Let's have a look. Right, so we've now got a structure up to 1 minute 30. We've got the turnaround here. I've put a little time signature change in here just so that when we come back in we're on the first beat of a bar, because there's a little break we need to have before the drum roll comes in. You'll hear it here. I didn't want that drum roll to crash into the end of the turnaround, and that's a little cheating way of doing it. So just do a change from 4/4 to 2/4 and you suddenly cut out a couple of beats. Right, I'm going to have a listen through to this again, see where we are at, because the ending now will need to vary because all I've done is copied it at the moment from the first section, and we're going to have to move some different parts in and out and have some fun with it. Okay, so after a bit of playing around, I have actually put the piano part back in here. Just playing octaves. We've also got a harp, which also joins in the middle section. The other main addition was the tambourines at the end to add an extra rhythmical element. I've also put in a deliberate gap here, so this final outro actually could be separated as its own sting ending. So you can hear there's enough of a gap there for an editor to be able to just cut that end off and stick it wherever they need to finish the cue. That's it for part 2. When I come back in part 3, I'll have had a listen to this through again, and we'll see if anything else needs adding, taking out. I'm not sure about this second section and how it builds, but we'll see how that goes. Like and subscribe, always appreciated, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.